Hello everyone, welcome again to my class. This would be the continuation of our topic on the introduction to skeletal system. I think you have known so far that skeletal system is composed of the bones, the cartilages, tendons, and the ligaments that are brought together for the purposes of forming a framework that gives support and protection, also for body movements and functions in fat and mineral storage and blood cell formation. As I said, your blood cell formation is also known as your hematopoiesis. Now at this point, let me draw your attention as I will going to discuss to you the chemical compositions of your bones and the types of cells in the bone tissue. Now moving forward about your chemical composition of bone. It is said to be that bone is incredibly strong. It has a strength rivaling of steel and reinforced concrete. It is said to be also that bone is unique from other connective tissues because of its matrix. Now we will learn about what are those matrix. Your bone actually is also called as your osseous tissue. Okay, your osseous tissue. Just bear in mind that bones has a extracellular matrix. As I said, extracellular matrix. It has extracellular matrix. Cellular matrix. Okay, what is this extracellular matrix of your bone? Your extracellular matrix has actually collagen. Okay, collagen. It is said to be that there is a 30% of your collagen as part of your extracellular matrix that is present in your bone. Another component of your extracellular matrix is your minerals. Okay, minerals. Minerals. Common minerals are your calcium and phosphate. Calcium and phosphate. Your calcium and phosphate actually they're also called as your crystalline salt. Crystalline or mineralized salt. Mineralized salts. The minerals as one of the common component of your extracellular matrix are mostly in a form of calcium phosphate crystals. Again, we have your calcium phosphate crystals, or also known as your hydroxyapatite crystals. Again, we have your hydroxyapatite crystals. Your minerals accounts for 55%. The most abundant, again, we have your calcium and phosphate, or your crystalline and mineralized salts. So it is much larger than to the collagen component. Another important part of your extracellular matrix is your prostoglycan. Okay, we'll write here prostoglycan. Prostoglycan. Your prostaglycan, your prostaglycan, actually, it has a purpose. It attracts and retains large amount of water. It attracts and retain large amounts of water. Amounts of water. And also, your extracellular matrix has organic molecules and even water. Okay, we have organic molecules and water component. Your water constitutes about 15%. Okay, 15% of your water. Now remember that the collagen here, the collagen is also present not only in bones, but it is also present in tendons. We'll write here also present. So present in tendons, also present in ligaments and cartilages. Now just bear in mind also that the collagen is a tough rope-like protein. Rope-like protein that makes the cartilages tough because it is one of the characteristics of your collagen. It is a tough rope-like protein. Okay, as a whole, the chemical composition of your bones consists of cellular matrix, and it is the reason why the bones are so hard. It's because of this extracellular matrix. Again, we have your collagen is one of your part of your extracellular matrix. 30% of that is your collagen, and 55% of that is the minerals that actually consist of calcium and phosphate that are said to be also your crystalline or the mineralized salts. And we have your proteoglycan and some organic molecules and even water. 15% of that constitutes water. So all in all, that is your chemical compositions of your bone. Now let's go about the types of cells in bone tissue. Okay, your types of cells. Types of cells in bone tissue. Actually, there are four types of cells present in your bone tissue. First is your osteoprogenitor cells, or also called as your osteogenic cells. Again, that is your osteoprogenitor, genitor, or also called as your osteogenic, osteogenic, genic cells. Second one is your osteoblast. Again, that is your osteoblast. Osteoblast. The third one is your osteoclast. Your osteoclast. And the fourth one is your osteocytes. Now, let's discuss them one by one. Your osteoprogenitor cells actually, they are unspecialized bone stem cells, okay? They are unspecialized, specialized bone stem cells. On the other hand is your osteoblast. Osteoblast from the word osteo, which means bone, and blast, which means formation or to form, to build. That is why osteoblasts are called as your bone building cells. Okay, bone building cells. Bone building cells. Okay, bone building cells. They are responsible for your bone formation. Okay, for bone formation. For bone formation. Formation. Bear in mind your bone formation is also termed as your ossification. Ossification. Ossification is a bone formation. Now next is your osteoclast. Your osteoclasts are said to be the bone destroying cells from the word osteo. As I mentioned earlier, it is bone, clast, which means to destroy, to break down, and your osteoclast beside it is also termed as your bone destroying cells. They are also called as bone removing cells. Again, first they are also termed as your bone destroying cells. Destroying cells. Since I mentioned they are also called as bone removing cells because osteoclasts are responsible to remove bones or the matrix of the bones. That is why bone removing cells or bone destroying cells. The cells that breaks down also the bones. Okay? They are responsible for bone resorption. If the osteoclast is responsible for the ossification or bone formation, this type of cell, bone cell, is responsible for your, again, that is for resorption. Resorption. Resorption simply it is a process by which your osteoclast breaks down or destroys or removes the bone cells or the matrix of the bones. That is your resorption. Then the other one is your osteocytes. Sites. Actually, from the word osteo, which means your bone sites is your cell. Actually, this type of cell in your bone tissue is said to be the mature type of bone cells. Okay, the mature bone cells. Bone cells. They are also the main cells of the bone tissue. They are the main cells of the bone tissue. And I'd like also to emphasize that in terms of cell division, okay, in terms of cell division, like your example, your mitosis. The osteoprogenitor cells or osteogenic cells, they are highly mitotic. Okay, they undergo cell division such as your mitosis. Okay, they undergo cell division, while the other types of cells, they do not undergo cell division. So the only type of cells of the bone tissue is the osteogenic or the progenitor cells. Okay, they do not undergo cell division. And also your osteoprogenitor cells, they are the one that develops into osteoblast. They develops into osteoblast. Okay, osteoblast. In short, your osteoprogenitor cells are the precursor of your osteoblast. Again, since they develop into osteoblast, they are said to be the precursor of your osteoblast. Now, your osteoblast actually they synthesize and they secrete collagen. Since I mentioned earlier, collagen is one of the important components of your extracellular matrix. Okay, again, the osteoblast uh, secrete. First, they synthesize. Okay, they synthesize and secrete something that to release secrete collagen fibers, your collagen simply collagen and other organic components components. So that is your osteoblast, responsible for bone formation. So they are also called bone building cells or bone forming cells. Bone formation, as I said, ossification. On the other hand, we have your osteoclast. What is this osteoclast, by the way? Since I mentioned it is responsible for bone resorption, by the way, your bone resorption is a normal part of development and a normal part of the maintenance and repair of your bones. They actually remove actually, okay, they remove unwanted or unnecessary bones or unhealthy bones. Okay, they remove unwanted unwanted or unhealthy bones since they are bone destroying cells. And remember also, since osteoclasts are bone destroying cells, there must be a balance between osteoblasts and osteoclasts, the one that forms the bone and the one that destroys the bone, so that they will maintain a homeostasis. Again, your homeostasis is a state of balance in these processes. Now, to give you a sort of information, since I mentioned osteoclast is a part of a normal development, maintenance, and repair of your bones, any abnormality in your osteoclast, like increased activity in your osteoclast or increased osteoclastic activity, can also implicate other diseases. They are one of the characteristics of your osteoporosis, one of the diseases that affects your bones. There's something about your osteoclast activity. There might be increasing activity in your osteoclast. So that is not normal actually. So again, it might implicate another type of diseases. That is why knowledge about this bone type of bone cells is very important also to understand bone diseases or other pathology that can affect the normal functioning of your cells, bone cells actually. Now your osteocyte, what is this osteocyte? Since I mentioned it is a mature bone cells, they are the one who regulate the activity of the osteoblast and osteoclast. Okay, they regulate again. They regulate both the activity, both the activity, activity of osteoblast and your osteoclast. Okay, since osteocytes plays a vital role in the regulation of your osteoblast and your osteoclast. They are, to sum up, they are the one also that maintains the daily metabolism that is happening in your bones. No? They maintains daily metabolism. Metabolism. Okay, daily metabolism. Example of that metabolism is the exchange of nutrients and wastes. Okay, exchange of nutrients and wastes with the blood. Okay, that is one of the function of your osteocytes for the maintenance of the bones. Okay, there's another thing about your osteocytes. Your osteocytes can sense pressures and cracks in your bones. Okay, can sense pressures, pressures or cracks in your bones. Your osteoclast, actually, I mentioned earlier that your osteoclast remove or destroy cells, bone cells, actually, the matrix of the bone cells. In what manner? In that they are dissolving the bone cells. In what way? Actually, through the use of the lysosomal enzymes, because osteoclasts, they have a lot of lysosomes. Okay, they have lots or numerous lysosomes, lysosomes. And inside of your lysosomes has lysosomal enzymes. Okay, lysosomal enzymes that digest or that dissolves bone matrix. On the other side, we have your osteoblast. Since I mentioned earlier that your osteoblast is responsible for bone formation or your ossification, they actually produce a new bone as they undergo the process of ossification. New bone, and that new bone is what we call your osteon. The new bone is your osteon. Now if the osteoblast, the osteoclast, and the osteocytes do not undergo cell division, such as your mitosis, now the question there is, how are they replenished when old one dies? Now the answer for that question lies behind your osteoprogenitor or your osteogenic cells. It is because that your osteogenic cells or osteoprogenitor cells are the only type of bone cells that are capable of undergoing a mitosis or a cell division because it has a high mitotic activity, as I mentioned earlier. So those are the things that we must have to know about the four basic types of cells in your bone tissue.